What's up, guys? So today in this video, what we're going to be going through is we're going to be going through 13 scenarios, 13 good fields to be used with the Alexa Developer Console and Airtable, using the integration from enabled in there and really figuring out what are some of these situations that we could find ourselves in where we might want to use Alexa voice, an Alexa voice skill, to either create a record in Airtable, update a record in Airtable, or delete a record in Airtable. So we're going to be going through those 13. If you haven't met me before, my name is Ben Green. I'm the owner of optimizeis, and what we do is we have business owners probably just like you, help them optimize their information systems. That's in stuff like Airtable, Asana, Slack, as well as a few other systems like Zapier to connect all the systems and make all the workflows automated very nicely to save you a lot of time. So without further ado, we'll get right into the video now. So as you can see, we're in an Airtable shared view right here. So we're just going to be going through the different scenarios. So I think I said 13 good scenarios. So we're going to keep track here. So this first one is a single line. Now a single line is pretty self-explanatory in that it's a single line of text. And then the one to the right of it is a long text. So long text means it can have multiple lines. So these first two, they're pretty straightforward. They're probably what you might expect if you have if you say something, then Alexa will hear you, read it, and transcribe it into like Ben or voice with Airtable. So those are the first two so the two use cases for that would be like entering your name or entering a bio, like entering maybe like if this was all a bunch of information about me or about a project, maybe like a bio about a company, a bio about myself. If this was about me, it'd be a bio about myself. Or if it was a bio about you, a bio about your company, you could just speak into Airtable and it would keep going and go multiple lines if you need it to. The next one is a single select. Now this one is really common with like this project status here. You can see this one is marked to done, and there's not any other statuses visible here because we are in like the shared view, so we can't exactly see all of those. But if you wanted to create a project with a certain status, you could do that. I think an even more popular use of a single select field with Alexa voice would be, hey Alexa, mark my, it's either in project management or a CRM. So, hey Alexa, move Ben Green to status closed lost. Hey Alexa, move my project named YouTube to done for today. So stuff like that is where you could get into like just having Alexa mark something is done for you, take it out of your project manager. You don't even have to look in there, and then you look later and it's done for you. The next one is a number. So really this is super easy. If the number and currency is very valuable. Like if you're entering any number, so like say it was how many, anytime you have to ask yourself how many, so like how many projects are we going to have? How many employees do we need on this? What is our capacity? What's the top limit? What's the bottom limit that we might want compared to something else? You could maybe adjust that with Alexa voice. The next one is pretty self-explanatory, currency. So if you want to input currency, maybe you have like a budget amount or you have an estimated value. If you're in a CRM, which we're going to get to probably next week, showing one of these examples live with the CRM. But if you have a currency and you're like, hey, Alexa, enter this opportunity in the opportunities table, and then you go, and Alexa's like, okay, what's the account value, or what's the value of this opportunity to you? You could say $12,000, and Alexa will know, or the path will be able to put that correct currency in here. So how many are we at now? So we're at single line text, which is 1, good one. Long text, which is 2. Single select, which is 3. Number, which is 4. And then currency, which is 5. So the next one that we're going to go into is percent. Now percent could be very good, like maybe you're talking with your team and you're talking about like where people think their capacity is, maybe where they think they are with their capacity. That's a common term for percent, and that's been really popular recently in the online discussions that I've been having, whether that's like in the Airtable Clubhouse group or just with people in the community, is like, where is your capacity? Like, what percent are you full? So if I was like trying to keep track of people on my team, like who is at the lowest percent capacity, I could maybe ask Alexa who is at the lowest percent capacity. Or I could just say, hey, Alexa, tell me what percent capacity that John on my team is at. So you can really update that, pull that out. And a lot of times with this like capacity thing, this might be computed based on different variables in your database. So like maybe how many projects are assigned to them. And then every day or every time that changes, have an automation to update this percentage. Then you can accurately get Alexa to do that. So I think that's 6. So the next one is phone user input. So this is just a phone number. So if you're in your car and maybe you see a billboard or something, or you're on a train or somewhere where you have good audio, quiet audio, so you can talk to Alexa without like too many distractions, and you wanted to put in a phone number, or maybe you're just with somebody and then they can just put in their phone number themselves. So you're like, hey Alexa, add this contact to my CRM. And it's like, okay, their name, Ben. Their last name, Green. And then what's their email? And that's their email. And then it gets to phone. And so Alexa can take the phone input that you give Alexa and it can format it. And this is like big on the computing side of, this is big on the back end. A lot of people, they'll just like come and see some of these workflows and they'll be like, oh, that's awesome. Like I had assumed all of this would work. But this is going through and like these are computed on the back end to make sure that Airtable can use these as like good fields. So that's a great one, is phone number. Another one is the date. So this can be very important. And a lot of times, like if we scroll down to the end, we'll see that there's like a computed date down here. If we come down here to like some of these last modified and created times, a lot of times these ones are computed. But one that's probably even more commonly used is like a date. So like, what date did I have an interaction with someone? Maybe you're in the car, you just had an interaction with somebody that's in your sales CRM, and you're like, hey Alexa, log this interaction in my sales CRM and put this date on it, and put like this person, add them as a linked record, which we're going to get to soon, and add like all these other fields we've talked about. So maybe Alexa's like, okay, do you have any notes for this, which is a long text field? Then you can give Alexa all your notes. So I know we're not quite at 13 yet, so I'm going to go through a few more of these and then we'll count again. So the next one is rating. This one's pretty simple. This one on the, I believe on the back end, it's a rating on a 1 through 5 scale. So like this one right here, I believe would, yeah, it does sum out to 5. So if like you put something equal to this, you get 5. So this one's pretty straightforward on giving Alexa like a number. So that one's pretty cool. The next one works very similar. So this one is Boolean Value. It's essentially a true, false, yes, no, checkbox or uncheck box. And this one can also work. So maybe you're like, you have questions in your interactions form, like did you talk to them about using Airtable on their team? Did you talk to them about doing e-signature automation? Did you talk to them about using Zapier with their team? Check the box, check yes or no. And you answer yes, and then Alexa will come in here and check the box for you. So you can set up a lot of these workflows where like Alexa will ask you very pointed questions to make sure that you enter all of the right data. And the beauty of this is you can do all this hands-free. So the next one is a multiple select. Now this one's probably one of the more complicated ones, but this is still insanely powerful because not only can you change a status like a single select, but you can have multiple values be brought in with a multiple select option here. So now let's see, we've done single select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 2 more. And these are arguably 2 of my favorite ones, specifically the last one. The next one though is duration. So this is, I believe it's hour:, month, or hour:, minute, not month. But this one's pretty straightforward. Maybe in that interactions form, I know I have it in my business set up, so all the way at the bottom of the form, when I have an interaction with somebody, whether that was a call, whether that was email, whether that was like FaceTime, Zoom, anything like that, I want to be tracking my time. And so I want to be tracking that for other reasons, but something that you can have Alexa ask you for is, hey Ben, hey business owner, how long did that interaction take? Then you can say 1 hour and 27 minutes. And that can be taken and put into a duration field. So we'll get into all of like actually interacting with Alexa and interacting with these good fields in a later video, but you really use a lot of these to draw a baseline for you and your business on what workflows you use these in and how can you start to automate these by using Alexa and just like talking to them and being able to do this stuff hands-free rather than being tied to a computer. The last one, number 13, is link to another record. So earlier I was talking about like if you're doing interactions, you want to automatically link to the contact. So if you need to say, hey Alexa, log this interaction, maybe here's the status of the interaction. Did you talk about Zapier? Yes, check that box. How long was your call? It was 27 minutes. Alexa will put that in there, but also who's your call with? That's always a very important question. So then you can enter like, okay, my call was with this person, so link them in this record, and Alexa will know that it's that record, or Alexa will know it's that field as well as it's that record that you're looking to link to, and all of this can work very seamlessly. So for this video, that's the 13 records, but if you want to see me interacting with 3 specific of these good fields, you can click the end screen right here, and it'll actually be me interacting with Alexa, me talking with Alexa, and editing, updating, deleting a record in here with just 3 good fields. So I highly encourage you to go check out the end screen right there, learn a little bit more about using Alexa Voice and Airtable. Now that you got the baseline of like, okay, now what fields can I use with this? You can take that and start to see exactly how. So I'd love you to comment and say maybe what workflows you have that use these fields. But without further ado, I really hope you go check out that video right there and learn all about how we've actually done this and see a live example. So I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.